It's 5 a.m. somewhere, so that means that the garbage collectors are coming to take out the trash, but we won't throw you out.
Welcome to Your Trash Pals podcast, coming to you live from the server farm that's hosting all your favorite NFTs. We got the bored ape. We got
One eighth.
we've got anime girls. We got uh we got Missing No from Pokemon. We got all the NFTs just right here for you. Um but this is a podcast about comics, art, culture, and whatever little bits of trash we found while picking through the garbage bin. I'm Van Notes, and I firmly support making NFTs in March 2024.
And I'm Ren, and I don't support that because yeesh, truly yeesh. To make an NFT in the year of our Lord 2024, I think about those poor NFT bros who put up UV lights instead of black lights and blinded themselves. Did you hear about that? This was like a year ago or something like that.
No, I was diving through like some old comics, like from the people who tried to do NFTs, like Rob Liefeld. He had a line of
You
NFTs.
love Rob Liefeld.
I do love Rob Liefeld. And I was remembering, I was like, oh yeah, people were NFTing, and now no one. But I worry it's going to be like QR codes, like how we all dismiss QR codes, and we were like, these are never going to catch on. And then someone's going to be like, we got to bring QR codes back. We got to bring NFTs back.
I don't know. NFTs don't have a purpose. QR codes at least hold like some kind of information, and like
They have a function. It's
yeah,
true.
NFTs are just ugly,
Ugly.
ugly.
Like my favorite
Um,
show, Glee.
you're so funny. I have exciting news. Uh,
What's your exciting news?
I'm continuing to be caught up on Drag Race.
Well, you know who loves Drag Race, who's the number one Drag Race fan of everybody on the entire internet. Our special guest. She's not actually. I
That's so funny.
I think if Carta ever watched an episode of Drag Race, she would combust. But let's bring her on to talk about it. So this special episode, we have the one and only Carta Monir. Carta is an artist, author, and porn performer living in Ann Arbor, Michigan. That was not doxable information. Carta warned me not to dox her earlier. But I have successfully only read the bio on her website, and now we are releasing her from the Star Wars Death Star trash compactor. It's Carta!
Yay!
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Welcome to our RuPaul's Drag Race recap podcast.
I am
Yes.
so excited. I've been keeping up with all the challenges. I really like the one where they had to make an outfit entirely out of string cheese. That was
Oh,
a really good one.
if only. If only. I
No,
recently was complaining that they don't do enough outfit challenges, and if they did them out of food items, it'd be revolutionary.
it would be horrible. Yeah, it would be really, really something.
It would be so gross.
I was actually in a restaurant that seemed to have UV lights instead of like black lights. I was in like
Oh
a
no.
driving back from Canada. I stopped at a Wendy's to use the bathroom, and in
Mhm.
the bathroom, the lights were all like UV blue lights, and they fucking hurt so bad to look at.
Oh
And
no.
I just like tried to like keep my eyes down and leave as fast as I could. I feel like maybe it was on some sort of timer where like when people are in there, it's not supposed to be only UV lights, but it was broken. I don't know.
That's
Bathrooms for like
accursed, Lindsay.
needle based hard, but I've not heard of UV lights being so like I've only heard them used for the NFT bros, and they were just being idiots.
Yeah. Yeah.
I exclusively turn off all my lights and look directly into a UV light every night.
That's
Or,
good. Yeah, that's like a sunlight therapy.
that's what I
That's very
picked up
fun.
to survive the winters. So the
I have a UV light for nail purposes, but it's too bright. It's too dangerous
for the claws.
for the claws.
The important question that everybody's wondering, what trash are you consuming this week, Carta? What are you just diving into? What anime are you binging?
I brought a big stack of my favorite anime, which is the now defunct Forced Womanhood magazine. Here's an example. On the cover, it says "Men transformed into female slaves," and then on the back cover, it says "Men enslaved, dominated, and transformed into female slaves, dedicated to the women who dominate their men."
Honestly, iconic. I love that for them.
Is dedicated to the brave Mujahideen fighters who dominate their men. Yeah, I brought a big stack of these. I love Forced Womanhood magazine. Obviously, like in talking about it, I'm going to be saying a lot of language that you probably shouldn't use normally. Forced Womanhood magazine started as a different type of magazine.
Consensual womanhood magazine.
No, it's worse. I have the first issue here. I paid quite a lot of money for it. It started as a magazine called Erotic Piercing and Slave Piercing. It has a picture of a penis and chastity labeled "The Ultimate Slavery." erotic piercing for fun and slavery.
That's oh my goodness.
And this was published by Centurion, previously called Centaur Publishing, and they did like a lot of like catalogs. You know, they sold fetish wear, so they had like a lot of different magazines that were sort of like fronts for selling their products. You know, so Slave Piercing, it sold like their home piercing kits. Like this magazine has a ton of information about how to do genital piercings yourself at home, and like tools that you can buy, and also like chastity
like the
cages.
G.I. Joe cartoon for fetishes.
Yes.
Exactly. Buy all our play sets and toys.
Yes, buy all our play sets. It has like a step-by-step guide. All of this like sort of practical information went away. So like I think they pretty quickly figured out that like the people who were interested in this magazine really enjoyed like the sort of concept of like forced feminization. So they pivoted to Forced Womanhood. And in the first issues of Forced Womanhood, after they renamed it, they're like, we renamed it because it was kind of an alienating name, like news sellers didn't want to stock it. But I think they also renamed it because the people who were reading it were just like, I don't care about erotic piercing. I care about being transformed into a sissified woman. And it's full of letters. So here I have issue 15 from the mid 90s, I want to say 94. How
long running is this magazine?
Yeah,
it went until recently, like very recently, like 2019-ish probably.
Oh wow.
So the first issue is like 1980. I couldn't tell from like the
85, I think.
85 to like 2019. That's a long run.
That is a really long run.
They sold hormones through the magazine, like not real hormones called shit like Feminique, made out of a proprietary blend of feminizing whatevers. Let me see if I can find a Feminique advertisement.
Coming from the Mountain West, we love proprietary blends of herbs.
Feminizing whatevers.
Yeah.
Herbs.
There are okay, here we go. So here are the hormones that you can buy. Feminique, it creates the basic biological changes in the body and will give you those extra female cells to help develop the ultimate in femininity. A new formula from our pharmaceutical laboratories to create the perfect woman. A lot of research, the creation of this formula. That's a typo. Natural herbs that are supposed to have female hormones, plus raw ovary, ovinome, raw uterus, etc. By law, we cannot make claims about breast enlargement, so we guarantee nothing. but you be the judge of this all new formula. And then there's like an insert box, you know, like an informational box with the heading, "Glandular are the secret." Glandular therapy utilizes raw concentrates of glandular and organ tissue. The theory is that cells help like cells. In practical terms, this means that raw ovarian concentrates, for example, contain a variety of known and unknown intrinsic factors that support ovarian functions in the recipient. The quote, raw glandulars used in Feminique are dehydrated by a special process which ensures they contain all of the enzymes and hormones that are present in the natural tissue. One of the key elements is Ovanome trademark, which provides 160 milligrams of raw ovarian concentrate to assist in the production of essential hormones. And you can buy 60 tablets for only $19.95.
Honestly, that's a deal.
Yeah. They also sell Mammary Plus Mother's Milk, FemGlan, Triple Strength Mammary, Natural Feminizer, Feminant, and Estroglan.
I'm wondering who is naming these fake pills.
Someone at Centurion Publishing, I guess.
The snake oil operation is wild.
Pretty amazing. And yeah, they were still selling these sort of fake hormones through their website through like, I don't know. I don't remember when I last looked, 2018, 2019. They've since shut down, but like they were selling magazines with like Lena Paul on the cover and stuff, you know, like current trans porn stars, still under the name Forced Womanhood.
Wow. This is a preview. This is a preview of all the juiciness we'll get into here. I love the research. My trash I've been consuming this week is ABC situational comedies.
Such as
I just watched Home Economics, which is like the attempt to follow up on Modern Family, and they're like, this is the poor family and this is the middle class family, and they have a rich brother, but he's divorced, so we need to feel bad for him.
Yeah.
Divorce.
And my favorite thing about this new era of ABC comedies that are immensely lackluster is one, I can put them on while drawing or doing literally anything else and they function. But also there's always a Disneyland episode, and it is such an egregious advertisement. Like the Modern Family one was just out of this world, just like a total ad. And then this one was even worse. It was like, we came into Disneyland a broken family, and now we're like,
whole.
We're whole because of the magic of Disneyland and the like cynical lesbian characters. The way they become uncynical and overcome their worries about having a baby is by buying a Pride onesie with Mickey Mouse ears.
Oh my god. Wow, that's, you know, that's beautiful.
Love conquers all. Love wins.
Feeling a fractured nation. Yeah.
So Ren, you caught up on Drag Race.
I did.
Did you have?
I do have thoughts. I have thoughts as per usual. My main thought is that I love Safira Cristal. She's from Philadelphia, and I feel very. I'm not from Philadelphia, but my dad is. So I'm very.
So you
like,
feel Philly pride.
Yeah, I have like generational Philly pride. So I'm like, yeah, I hope Safira Cristal wins. This is like, I talked to my dad and my brother, who are big like football sports fans, about Drag Race. I used to make my brother watch it with me, in between like episodes of Bad Girls Club, and like, I wish that they could see, and they can see. They both have excellent vision. I could just make them watch like a recent episode, but they haven't seen the episode since like 2010, like when it first came out, and they both were like, "What is this?" And now, like, it's so elevated. It's so highbrow, if you would say.
Did we lose him?
Safira Cristal on Drag Race. Oh, Van, are you frozen?
Oh, I was muted because
Oh,
I'm
You're
a
a
good
funny little guy.
I'm a good podcast host.
such a good
I
podcast
love
host.
I was just going to say, as you've been watching actual RuPaul's Drag Race, I've been watching RuPaul's slow social media descent into just
Oh.
being an old guy on the internet and
Let the record
doing.
show, I don't like RuPaul. I do not like RuPaul, like,
Does
at
anybody
all.
is
No,
any fan of Drag Race like, oh, I love RuPaul?
Only
no,
those with inner saboteurs.
true. Like,
Only
I
those
watch
who've let their inner saboteur take over and make them hate RuPaul.
it's too much. I'm like with the fracking and
Mm-hmm.
honestly with the fracking. That's all I really need to say. It's enough. The fracking and the being incredibly annoying are the two
Mm-hmm.
reasons why I hate RuPaul.
Yeah,
But I will
fracking,
watch
letting a
Drag
guy
Race.
drown.
Oh
I
yeah,
forgot that one.
I did forget about that.
It's a classic.
Oh, RuPaul.
Speaking
But
of torturous individuals, I'm a torturous individual.
you can tell
Good
with
segue.
your ABC family.
My normie torture fetish. That's really.
Okay.
But I'm gonna open up Jigsaw's junk drawer.
Oh boy.
Which is my beloved segment where I come up with a sadistic little game to put our podcast guests through and my co-host. And this episode's junk drawer, we open it up, we pull out one of Jigsaw's rejects, and it is the beloved return of the Stankometer,
Oh
which
lordy.
first debuted in the Trung episode. And Carta, if you don't know, the Stankometer is where we pull in a list of fictional characters, whether they be corporate brand mascots or whatever I have pulled out today,
Mm-hmm.
and we rate them on their stankiness. This is partly inspired by. Have you ever read that Butt magazine article about the guy who thinks people who bathe once a week are posers and he never bathes?
No, but I can, having read a fair amount of Butt magazine, I can very much picture this.
It's my favorite topic of conversation with literally anyone. Is this article that made such an impact on me? But we rate like Trung, of course. I had to bring up Mr. Peanut, beloved brand
Mm-hmm,
mascot
mm-hmm,
that
mm-hmm,
Trung adores. The Velastic Pickle Guy. This
mm-hmm.
episode of the Stankometer, I have. I'd like us to rank various old-timey comic strip characters because
Okay.
on top of your love of pornography, you also just love old-timey comic books and
I have
their
a lot of information stored up here about old-timey comic books, for better or worse.
just taking up the hardware.
Mhm.
So yeah, zero means they have no stank appeal. They are lacking any kind of stankiness. They're squeaky clean. They still could fuck, but like it's a very normie,
Mhm.
non-grimy
Right, right,
situation.
right,
10 is high stank. 10 is
right,
they are nasty.
right. 10 is like
Nasty.
Samuel Delaney, like hog,
Hog.
Yes.
hog.
Yes. I'm excited to see Ren if you're familiar with all these characters as someone who also has a comics degree.
I'm sure
If
I'm
the
not. I've never known anything in my life, and I'm excited to show it off right now.
I want to see if SBA failed you
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
in your knowledge. Uh, let's start with a softball here. The beloved character Heathcliff the cat.
So funny.
I mean, I would say like a 6 or 7 because Heathcliff is
Yeah.
always like getting fish bones out of the garbage, that kind of thing. You know. cat stuff. I feel like Heathcliff is more likely to use a contraption, during sex, which is not necessarily stanky. But there's potential.
I looked it up, and Heathcliff wears a leather jacket sometimes, and I feel like that lends itself.
That's so
I
true.
was like, is that true, or did I make that up? Does Heathcliff wear a leather jacket? And
Heathcliff
he
leather
does.
jacket, real?
Honestly, real. It does his Bruno Mars gay, and so I'm like, I that adds to his stankiness. He's like a little, like a cat leather daddy in training. That's why I'm
What
saying
numerical value would you assign?
7 for sure. 7 for
7?
sure.
Okay, I think we can agree on a 7.
Yeah, I'll throw out a 7. I feel like he has more potential than he has current execution.
It's true.
He could go over the edge, or he could become like he might decide to like be like on the edge, and then he's like, no, I gotta reel it back. I'm going full vanilla now.
Full vanilla Heathcliff.
The next character I have on my Stankometer typed script of all these characters that we must rank is the beloved action hero, the Phantom.
Oh boy. Okay. I'm gonna say like a 1, because like while the Phantom is in like head to toe purple spandex all day in the jungle, he's also an agent of like post-colonial whiteness. And like I think that he has some really weird and puritanical ideas about sex. I think that he's like getting his sex out through leaping from tree to tree. And when it comes time to actually have sex, he's like, only to procreate, like he does this,
I mean, he is like what is the difference between a condom and a purple skin tight spandex suit? He's just in the condom 24/7.
He is dressed as a condom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which I think like both like in a practicality, kind of like wearing a condom outfit in the jungle like would lend itself to being stanky, but because he's so puritanical, it negates it.
Yeah. Is he on Skull Island? Am I making that up?
I don't think it's Skull Island. He lives in a skull.
He lives in a skull, right? His secret cave is a skull. Maybe I'm just thinking of like Skull Cave or whatever.
I'm thinking like a 3 or a 4.
Okay.
How do you feel?
I think he's like squeaky clean, but in a weird way. Like we've talked about whether how high trad wives would rank on the Stankometer, and they've really eluded us.
That's a fair question.
He is like, I think he's one of those guys who would be like, I won't let my seed be spilled. Like,
right. Yeah. Like he smells crazy, but he will not have sex with you. He's like the Peter Berlin of the jungle.
Oh, that's so funny.
Man, I think he's a 3 on the Stankometer. Just his kink is too subtle. His
vibes are off.
Or like the vibes are only off, but they're not defined, I guess. So
God, my mind is racing at the other people who could be on this list. I'm ready to do like one by one the main cast of Terry and the Pirates, like anytime you want to.
The next character I have is Aunt Fritzy from Nancy.
Aunt Fritzy fucks for sure. Glitzy Fritzy, she's a flapper. But I feel like part of being a flapper is like having kind of a neat appearance, like she stands in opposition. Like Nancy is grimy. Nancy and Sluggo, both kind of grimy. I feel like good old Ritzy Fritzy, probably like a 2,
Yeah,
like she's having sex, but like very, very normie sex.
They're doing missionary every like Saturday and calling it an afternoon.
Yeah. She thinks that topping and bottoming is like if she's on the bottom or on the top.
Exactly.
She's never pegged.
Oh
No, no.
no. Oh no.
No.
Never. She doesn't even know what that means.
Y'all were so offended at that concept.
I think she would be offended at the concept.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. She keeps a
Yeah.
clean house.
She's a
You know what
lady.
I'm saying? Yeah.
So she's like a Sex in the City character, I guess, where like she's constantly bragging about sex, maybe, or like.
I think she would find Sex in the City really, really scandalous and titillating. You know, she's like someone who wishes that she was a Sex in the City character.
Mm-hmm.
I guess she does never have like a sexual partner within the Nancy universe. Like she's always just like hanging around.
Right. She's in kind of like the mom role, and she's always
Yeah.
the one who like, she needs Nancy to get up for school, or she needs Nancy to show restraint or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so a 1 for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so.
To find 1. Let's see.
And
I have
good
a
for
few.
her.
It's like she's fulfilled.
She seems happy.
Let's see. Next on the list, we're gonna throw Popeye on here.
Oh my god. This
I don't want to out myself with my current Popeye political takes. Let's
Yeah.
restrict
I'll
ourselves.
keep
Yeah. Are you
my opinions
asking
myself.
about Popeye?
Yeah, where he ranks
Okay.
on the
Okay.
Stankometer.
I'm gonna separate this. I'm gonna say original first appearance Popeye 10. He's rubbing on that wiffle bird. He's going crazy. Max Fleischer Popeye, like a 4 or a 5. You know, there's a lot of homoeroticism, but it's so sublimated, you
Mhm.
know, into Bluto shit. And like getting hurt. But like I feel like that 4 or 5 is like generous because I don't think that Popeye fucks at all. Like I think the only way he fucks is by transforming his body and having battleships grow in his biceps, you know, after eating spinach. And then like post Fleischer Brutus era Popeye, like a 1. Like I feel like the surrealistic eroticism sublimation of sexuality is largely gone. We're at Formula Popeye, and he's just a strong guy with a funny voice, and so we've lost the magic. But yeah, original appearance Popeye 10. I would say as Thimble Theater went on, Popeye lost some of that sexual menace, and it instead got transferred over to his father, Poop Deck Pappy, who was and remained a firm 10 the entire series.
I love this. That's so funny.
This
I've
is a
never
perfect analysis.
honestly, I have nothing to add. I have nothing to say except Poop Deck. What was his dad's name? Poop Deck.
Poop Deck Pappy,
Poop Deck Pappy. I love that.
who
I will
had like a
express.
whole arc where like he looks exactly like Popeye, and there's this whole arc where he like shaves his beard and like implicitly fucks Olive Oil. And then Olive Oil is like, I thought I was having a date with Popeye.
Oh well, she does not know what's going on.
Do you subscribe to speak for all trans women, Carta? Do you subscribe to the Olive Oil trans girly narrative that has dominated pop culture?
So I'm unfamiliar with this narrative. Why? Because she's tall? Because she's tall.
Yes.
She has big feet. I mean, like,
Yes. That's exactly it.
I think that is I think that's like a small brain take. I think the galaxy brain take is trans Popeye. Popeye in a dress happens a lot. And Popeye is like the outsider character. Olive Oil is just like the sister of a guy named Castor Oil who has schemes. But Popeye is the weirdo outsider who gets bonkus on the conkus, and like just a lot of things happen to Popeye. Also, like if you want to talk about canonically trans characters within original Popeye, the Sea Hag, clearly, obviously, she's the trans woman.
Thank you for again giving a definitive Popeye take for everyone.
Also,
to subscribe to.
Arguably anti-Semitic caricature, Giesel, the shoe salesman, firm 10. Firm 10. He eats his soup with his beard fully in the soup. I'm just saying, that's disgusting. The man knows what he's doing.
Not afraid to be sloppy at all.
Yeah, no, he's sloppy, all right.
Oh my lord.
Let's see. I have two more that I really want to make sure that we cover here.
Is one of them alley-oop? I feel like there's an alley-oop in here.
I don't have alley-oop on here,
That's
but would
shocking.
you like to make sure that you make your opinion known?
No, I want to hear what you have picked out.
Oh, okay. I've got Mark Trail on here.
Okay. That's a good question. I'm not familiar with like original era Mark Trail. I'm much more familiar with like the mid 2000s kind of like Josh Reed's era Mark Trail. I think he doesn't really fuck. I know that that's like sort of like the surface level take, but I don't think Mark Trail fucks. I think Mark Trail appreciates nature in all its beauty, but as an observer, not a participant.
I just
Now
all
that's
I
kind of
remember
weird.
about Mark Trail is that I hated the comics as a kid. So
Yeah.
I didn't like them. I didn't like Mark Trail comics, and I didn't like shit. I'm forgetting. Knights of something, some kind of knight one, but I didn't like him. So, and because I don't like
Prince
him, he does
Valiant?
not. Yeah, Prince Valiant.
Prince Valiant.
Oh.
I thought you were going to maybe say Gil Thorpe, also another classic. I hate this comic.
Well, just as a child, not as a learned adult, just as a kid who was like, I can't read, so I don't know what I'm gonna do with this.
Who's the last character going to be? Is it going to be Zonker? Are you going to ask me Zonker?
No, this one is a pretty easy surefire shot. Hagar the Horrible.
That's so funny.
Okay, yeah, I have a nuanced take on this one. Hagar is racked with insecurity. You know, he's a Viking, but he's like the whole thing that makes him a sort of compelling newspaper character is that he has like that deep, terrible anxiety and insecurity and like sort of like fish out of water feeling. Like everyone else knows how to be a Viking, and he has like a gay son. He doesn't know if his wife loves him. He's like very insecure about all that. So I'm gonna say he's pretty low on the list, you know? Like he sees other people like raping and pillaging, and he's like, "Oh, I don't know, I don't know if I would be able to get it up, you know? Like that's what he's thinking."
That's very funny. Honestly, yeah, I have to agree. I think like, to be at a high level of stank, you have to have some level of self-confidence. I feel like that has been established in the canon of the Stankometer lore. And I just don't think he has enough. He doesn't have enough charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
RuPaul would not be impressed with Hagar the
Not
Horrible.
at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. Hagar the Horrible, honestly, came out on the main stage wearing tennis shoes and took off his wig with nothing underneath. And that two sins. Two sins.
Oh, I skipped one. This was near the top, and I think this might provoke another nuanced take. Blondie.
Ooh.
Okay, so I really like original Dagwood, like original Blondie, where Blondie is again like Ritzy Fritzy, a flapper. In the very early strips, Blondie's rich father doesn't want her to marry Dagwood, and Dagwood goes on a hunger strike. And Blondie is not a terribly fleshed out character, though. I feel like she's a lot like Ritzy Fritzy, where like she's married to a freak, like a real freak, but she herself is kind of like a foil. You know, she's the foil for the real freak. So like her role is usually to like express like concern or kind of the reasonable opinion or whatever. So like I'm gonna guess, like Dagwood comes to bed and he's like got 10 sex toys like all smushed together, and he's like, I'm gonna put all of these in you. And she's like, no, I don't, no, like she's like, what if we did it where you're on top? That's what I like, She thinks it's like really exciting if she gets to have an orgasm.
She's like Marge Simpson when Marge Simpson learned oregano was a seasoning. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah.
I think I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum with Blondie, where I see her relationship with Dagwood being like he's her toy. Like she's this rich girl who found herself this little freaky boy that she can just like she can do anything she wants to.
Okay, so you think Dagwood is getting the 10 sex toys shoved into him?
Oh yeah, because he has no self-control.
That's right.
And
Yeah, okay.
for their relationship to have continued on like as long as it has, like she has to be down. Like
yeah, okay. I mean, like I like your theory. I don't know if it's correct, but I like your theory.
I don't know. I feel like I have a foot in both camps now.
I think Blondie is a 7 for me. That's where
that's high.
I feel like that's a 7 based entirely on like off-screen sort of like wish fulfillment. You know? Like I'm not against it, but I don't think Blondie has done anything on screen that warrants a 7.
I don't
Blondie
think that's her
doesn't have
vibe,
like the John Arbuckle drinking dog cum moment, you know?
Now that's the new like test. Have they met that threshold? Which Heathcliff has. Like
yeah, no, Heathcliff definitely has.
And we've established he's a stanky little cat man.
Mm-hmm.
Did we write not to throw it back? Not to throw.
Oh, I said Hagar was gonna be low, like a 2 or a 3, I think.
I think 2.
I think 2 or 3.
His circumstances are nasty, but he's not nasty.
Exactly.
He
doesn't have the confidence.
He's the guy whose friends are all going to sex parties, and like, but he's like, maybe the next one.
And maybe the next one. Oh, guys, you know, I got so hard that I just had to stay home.
He can't fit it through the door.
It's
I had a big lasagna just now.
Big lasagna.
So I can't. I couldn't possibly.
He got hard, but it like went horizontal instead of.
Yeah.
So he's just got some stuff going on.
You know, I could see if we're using the sort of Blondie method, fully off-screen personality traits, I would say Hagar could be a feeder. You know, he could be really. He could go to the orgy and just someone is putting turkey legs in his mouth, like those big turkey legs. He doesn't get hard, but like he's coming a lot. You know what I mean?
That's very funny.
I'm glad that we have an empirical and a subjective method to this process, the scientific.
It's important.
There's the hypothesis and there's the actual results.
Mm-hmm.
Well, with that, I will now close Jigsaw's junk drawer. The drawer is officially closed. No more little torture devices shall leap forth from it. And we can return to our regularly scheduled conversation about forced womanhood.
Thank you. I was gonna read you an example of the like quote unquote letters that forced women
please
get.
do.
I'm so excited
because every issue is full of these, and like you know, I love that they're framed as letters to the editor of Forced Womanhood. And not just stories, you know, they're letters.
Are there personal ads in this one? Because I think those are always like you read the letter, like you flip through, you look at the pictures, then you read like the letters and the personals, and then you go back and find what else is.
In the very, very early ones, there are like actual letters that feel real, like with enclosed photographs that are like, I don't know, like they feel kind of real. But then like by the time they kind of hit their stride and we're like, oh, this is what we're doing, there's nothing like that. It is entirely a catalog. There's also like a lot of fake letters to the editor about how good the vitamin hormones are.
I'm imagining some poor intern having to write those.
Yeah, no, absolutely. God, there are so many okay, so like the concept of slave piercing slash forced womanhood is that dominant women are turning losers into beautiful girls. So this letter to the editor is called "Cheating Husband Gets It Bad from Mad Wife," and it's so representative. Like they're all like this. They're all kind of just palette swapped versions of this. It reads, "Dear forced womanhood, over the past 4 years, I have completely turned my husband into a woman. Unlike the others that have written to you in the past, however, I didn't allow my spouse to quit his job. Throughout his transformation, he had to let everyone see what he was going through. Although he has long since gotten used to being seen as a woman by people whom he knows, occasionally he will still break down and cry about it. I have no sympathy for him at all. The reason I did this to him was because I caught him cheating on me. I was able to convince our family doctor to write the prescription for the female hormones and would delight in watching my unsuspecting husband take one every morning. It didn't take long for the pills to take effect, and I was able to really start his changeover. I began making him go to electrolysis treatments 3 times a week for each 2-hour appointment. He cried and complained about the pain almost every day. Blah, 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 blah. Skipping ahead, also at that time, I made him visit a surgeon and have his breasts enlarged. And then they also end with the husband getting fucked by a man.
Very important.
Yeah. What? God, there are so many of these. Okay, this one is from Nameless in Weedville, Pennsylvania. Dear forced womanhood, I've been ordered by my mistress to send this letter. She wants everybody to know how she trained me. It all started about 3 years ago. My girlfriend, now my mistress, was looking through some magazines and liked the idea of me dressing as a woman. Around the same time, I started to feel tired a lot and was not able to think clearly all the time. She told me not to worry since a bug was going around. Parenthetically, was she secretly slipping me certain hormones? Maybe. Then came the bombshell. I was to go to a lawyer and get a legal paper ready stating that I willingly would have my balls cut off.
I love the introduction of like outside professionals into some of these stories.
Yeah.
Like the doctor, the lawyer, the like.
There's one letter that, I mean, I don't know which of these it's in, but there's one letter where it's like written by the wife. And it's like, I had my blacksmith friend come over while my husband was sleeping and weld a chastity cage onto him.
That's so funny. How do you sleep through that?
You know, this one is a forced womanhood from the year 2000. It's issue 27. Look at what they did to me. They transformed me into a lady and chastised my penis.
That looks like little Annie Fanny. That's what
I
saw that cover.
It does. Yeah, and at this point they've really refined the formula. There's stories. There's letters. Everybody is noting that they have been locked in the handcuff style penis chastity, which just happens to be the exact type of chastity that you can buy in this very magazine.
I love that it's like an MLM publication. Like honestly, that's the
essentially new penis chastity. Yeah, there's just like all kinds of different. There's ones for pierced penises and unpierced penises, but like their most popular one is one that's like one handcuff and then a tube, like a little bent metal tube. So like the penis goes in the tube and then the handcuff goes behind the balls, I guess, and is like really cinched tight.
I was thinking like a little ball handcuff, but you mean like a handcuff for the hand.
Yeah. No, I mean like they have repurposed a literal handcuff.
That's so funny.
If you go to the leather archives in Chicago, they have examples of like exactly this type of chastity device that was sold. Yeah, they're all the same. I would love to get my hands on some copies of like the more recent ones.
Mhm.
Oh wow, this one is racist.
Oh
no! Oh no!
Shahar.
There's a letter from a black man that opens, "Yo, man,"
Oh
No!
because it's from 2002.
Okay.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah.
I have
Is it
noticed that a little bit, that there's a thread of racism in sissification comics.
Oh,
Sometimes.
100%. I mean, it like ties into that like like cuckold culture thing where like what's the ultimate humiliation? Like your small white penis next to
Yeah.
a man who's fucking your wife or whatever. And so like in these it's the same concept but like you're the one who's getting fucked.
is it 50% like wife, 50% like sissified husband? Is that the like breakdown percentage like of the letters and like the content? Like
Yeah, basically entirely like the letters and content are entirely from the perspective of like a wife gets angry at her husband, or sometimes she reads a copy of Forced Womanhood magazine and gets the idea to change her husband. So some of the letters are written by the husband who's been instructed to write it. Sometimes they're written by the wife who's bragging about what she did to the husband. Sometimes they switch up the formula and it's like written by like your wife's new stud boyfriend who's like, you know, bragging about how you've been transformed and he gets to fuck your wife. But like, in the early ones when it was still slave piercing, here's I think the last issue of slave piercing, or one of the last issues before it became forced womanhood, you can see it's already sort of forced womanhood.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
There are still like more kind of real seeming stories, or like letters, but like it's already like the formula has already been established.
To think people are doing this on Reddit for free, where once it was monetized.
Once
It's
it was
true.
monetized, I mean, yeah, but do the people on Reddit sell Feminique or Ova whatever? Something that they do also that I think is incredibly funny is like they just reuse the same illustration over and over. So here's this cover illustration.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Here it is in the article. Here it is in the article. The next page, even bigger.
That's so
Here it is
funny.
in the article again. Yep. And then here it is again.
What
Slightly
am I
different
doing?
variation on it.
Using an image only one time in a publication.
Honestly, you got to get your money's worth.
You got to get yeah. I mean, they're like, I don't know. This illustrator was kind of expensive.
Gotta keep milking it.
Yeah, it's I now that it's out of print entirely, I regret that I didn't like go out of my way to buy the Lena Paul issue or whatever when I noticed it being sold. But like at a certain point, it also becomes kind of boring because it's like they've figured out the formula. They don't even mix it up anymore. It's just like, however many pages this is, 100 pages or whatever of like the same thing sort of copied and pasted from the previous issues. So like,
Yeah.
it's easy to get burnt out on forced womanhood.
That is the thing with like periodical culture versus like, I don't know, more permanent culture where it's like, oh yeah, if people are waiting for this for like a month, a year, like they
Right.
don't tire out on it as fast as
Mhm.
like us just like me consuming tons of Spawn like in
Right.
a
Right.
short amount of time. It's not the way Spawn was meant to be consumed.
This
You can't
this
just
is
be
issue
binge and
4.
spawn.
This is from 2004. I don't know. It's just all kind of the same. Really great illustrations, although the quality definitely does go down as time goes on. Um, Still with the giant tear out centerfolds.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah, really amazing. So this artist is named Bruce Baker, who did
Uh-huh.
these, and really, really amazing work. And then lots and lots of ads. Here's like every single issue of forced womanhood. I guess it was slave piercing up until there were 12 issues of slave piercing. So like here's
Whoa.
Wow.
The whole smorgasbord.
The whole smorgasbord.
Could you order all those back issues? Is that what it was advertising? Like,
yeah, basically.
buy up our warehouse.
Basically. And then, as usual, the Feminique ads. This poor man was changed into a beautiful, chastised she-male. Beware, this could happen to
I
you.
really love
magazine.
Beware.
I like the perspective that there's like this mythical wife who's like,
yes,
I'm really degrading like my partner, and I'm really like putting them through this, and I'm like forcing them into doing all this, and the other person's just like going through a very pleasant gender transition,
right,
and it's
right,
just
right.
like do
It's
like
like
just like
all of them have the forced femme fantasy thing too, of like they never talk about passing as an issue or whatever. You know, it's like she talks to the family doctor and explains the situation, and the family doctor is like, well, he was cheating on you, so I'm going to prescribe female hormones.
Who are the publishers of this? I think you said
yeah, so
initially.
it's a company
like,
called
but were
Centurion. They like... they were known for like they're really well known for like fetish catalogs. So there was a release that they did called the Centurion catalog, which was just like everything they sold. And you know, it's like leather hoods and like dildos and all sorts of stuff. And then they had a ton of different sort of specialty magazines, trying to kind of corner certain markets with like beautiful, attractive art that like lures you in. And then like once you're in the magazine, it's just like, you know, oh, interesting. They keep mentioning this one style of chastity device over and over. And then, oh, what's this? I can order it in the back.
It's the most extreme version of the MLM pure romance.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what like the most, like the last issue I have of Forced Womanhood is. Oh, this is a very late one. This is a special edition. Oh, it's only from 2001, but this one has like a lot of photographs.
Oh.
It has photographs and like fake stories. Where like someone has submitted this photograph to some magazine, and then they've written a story to go along with it about how like this poor man is in permanent penis chastity or whatever. Dominant turns man into beautiful she-male hooker for big bucks.
That's what we have to do in this capitalist society.
Big bucks. Yeah, lots
That's
of
the next step of our podcast monetization.
Look at this guy.
We're not starting a Patreon.
Look at the guy that, like the quote unquote real man.
That's so funny.
He looks like a Leave It to Beaver character.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm like, Lordy.
Beautiful art though. Good job, Bruce Baker.
I wonder.
That guy's a 0 on the Stankometer.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Here's the chastity device I was talking about.
Oh.
Oh, that's not for me.
Does it work? I don't know.
Does it work?
Does it work? I have no idea. I don't like see people using those online, which makes me think it was not the ultimate design, like they wanted you to believe.
Yeah, I think
it looks like a can opener.
It's time to bring it back.
Yeah, no, it does. It does look like a can opener. Yeah, is there anything else I can tell you about forced womanhood? You can find it on eBay. Usually people sell it in like lots, usually, because someone is getting rid of their embarrassing collection of Forced Womanhood magazine. You don't
feel like this is your version.
With the eras? Oh, sorry.
What did you say?
Oh, does the art, like we saw in the 2001 issue, the ideal man, he looks like a Ken doll from like the 1950s.
Right.
Is that just kind of like stock and standard, or does he ever wear like I'm like, I don't know, what were people wearing in the 2000s, like a Y2K oversized? Right. Yeah.
No, it depends on the artist, but like Bruce Baker's art is like very, very consistent. So this is a collection of his art, the erotic she-male art of Bruce Baker. And like, if you look in it, it's like just all of those illustrations, and it's clearly referenced from porn, but like the things that people are wearing are like 80s porno outfits, essentially. Sometimes other artists will come in, like Aldo. But again, it's very like, I don't know. The fashions don't feel contemporary. It's all taking place in some kind of like timeless 60s like fetish verse where like nobody stopped wearing that kind of clothes. I don't know, like like look at the
like 80s Spider-Man comics.
Yeah. They did some stuff where like you'll get like a drawing of someone in slightly more contemporary clothes, but like more than anything they just switched to photographs. So like that yo man letter was paired with like photographs of a man in a do-rag, where it's like, okay, so like he's who knows what these photos were taken for. I assume Centurion was like asset sharing back and forth, like on the assumption that like if a person buys this magazine, they're not necessarily buying that magazine. But yeah, there's the art, like that beautiful airbrushed art doesn't really update.
That's a shame. That's a crying shame.
It is.
I want to see an e-boy get sissified, and in beautiful airbrushed art, and I don't know where to find that, and that breaks my heart.
If you want to see an like I feel like the real successor to like this type of art is like, I don't know, someone like Encase, like
yes, you're right, actually.
Yeah, like there are definitely people doing exactly that, like with a much wider variety of bodies, and nobody's doing the physical media quite the same, but it definitely exists. I don't know if I have anything else to tell you about Forced Womanhood magazine, but I can go on a brief tangent and tell you about tell you something to Google.
Ooh, love to Google.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. I'm going to tell you something to Google. Give me a second to remind myself what the guy's name is.
This is the start of a letter.
A letter.
Dear Forced Womanhood magazine, I've been reading your magazine so eagerly. There is an artist named Gaber, spelled Gaber, who did at least 4 incredibly long comics with forced womanhood type plots that were entirely done within MS Paint, and they are incredible. I can send you a link like to a Google Drive. I'm happy to share. I don't need Gaber's not a secret. I should probably upload this work to Internet Archive, honestly, because it's really good. Here,
please do. I love seeing people do stuff with MS Paint because that is like such. I could never get into MS Paint.
It's like if Hergé was doing beautiful Ligne Claire work in MS Paint and it was just sissification porn.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, that's my modern, that's where all the energy that went into Forced Womanhood is now going into these deeply horny lo-fi comics.
I love that life finds a way.
Honestly,
no matter what,
life
finds a way.
As it should. The legacy of Forced Womanhood is long and storied and should live on.
Speaking of legacy, there is I don't remember what her name is, but a trans woman artist did a really amazing series of self-portraits inspired by Forced Womanhood covers several years ago. I want to say she's a Brazilian artist. Let me see if I can find this info. I should have prepared, but I didn't.
Were they all like, it was like one shoot, or I remember this guy.
Forced Womanhood trans artist. You remember
this is
Gaber?
Right. You introduced me to this. Yeah, you introduced me to this comic, I think.
Yes. Okay, yeah, and the artist who did the forced womanhood set is named Rio Sophia. She's based in Brooklyn. She was born in Mexico, so not Brazil, Mexico. And she did like a photo series heavily inspired by forced womanhood that you can see at riosofia.com/forced-womanhood. And they're very beautiful, very, very beautiful photos. That's all I got.
Excellent. Well,
Hell yeah.
Thank you, Carta, for your wealth of knowledge, for enlightening the listeners all over America, listening to us as we're broadcasting live from the NFT servers.
Yeah. No,
truly, the next stage is forced womanhood
NFTs.
That's the next phase.
Absolutely.
Lord. NFTs.
Soon, porn will be so attacked on the internet that the only way for it to survive is as NFTs.
NFT stands for...
Which is some dark timeline.
NFT stands for natal male forced to transition.
There you go.
Or naturally feminized
natal
titties.
male.
Honestly, I was trying to think. I was like, what could NFT be? What could NFT be?
No freaking testicles.
No freaking testicles.
No freaking testicles.
Well, Carta, where would you like to be found on the internet?
You can find me at cartamonir.com. You can also find me at allmylinks.com/xxxcartaxxx. Yeah, or you can Google my name. I have good SEO. There's no other Carta Monir that I'm aware of.
Nice.
You have fantastic SEO.
Thank you.
I get a bunch of random Dutch people in Iowa with my name, so I appreciate a good SEO.
That's all I know about Dutch people in Iowa.
So let us close out this episode. Thank you for listening to Your Trash Pals. You can follow the podcast on Instagram, Facebook for all the boomers out there like me, and YouTube. Our live Twitch and YouTube streams are hosted on Mondays, and episodes go up on Thursdays.
You can follow me at ren.psd and VanNotes on Instagram at VanNotesBooks. You can support our Ko-fi at Ko-fi/YourTrashPals.
Ko-fi/YourTrashPals?
Ko-fi/YourTrashPals pregnant?
It's
what did I say?
Ko-fi/YourTrashPals /Kirk/Picard/Spock/
You're so funny.
Jordy, the most interesting group. You can write into the podcast at yourtrashpals@gmail.com and ask us whether we think something is trash or treasure. I think that we will do an all questions episode sometime next month. So if you want to send in your hot questions for the pod, we'll start banking them. Our advice, our professional opinions of how we can force feminize your partner.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you angry at your partner? I have a great idea.
He'll love this.
He's going to love this. Eventually, he's going to love this.
This podcast will...
Don't listen to this podcast.
Carter, could you get...
19.
Ren, is it your turn or my turn to do fake ads?
Your turn, mister.
It's my turn. Okay. Then on our list of fake ads by our many sponsors who've lined up to sponsor this podcast, we have LiveJournal. LiveJournal is a still functioning website, and we love Russian hackers. And so we have invited them to all come on to LiveJournal. They are all just hacking away, posting data up. They love data. And if you love the Russian language, if you love data and hacking and you can do DEF CON and you want an experience like DEF CON, just go on to LiveJournal and start making some new friends. Thanks, LiveJournal, for supporting our podcast.
Yay, LiveJournal.
And remember to
reduce, reuse,
reuse,
and recycle.
recycle.
Yay!
It's worse every time.
Honestly,